Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you are. Guys, I hope you guys are staying well. You guys are keeping well. Hope everything's good. Guys, there's some really interesting news. Ben Shalom has come out and said that Amir Khan does not want to call it a day, and he's going to invoke the rematch clause against Kell Brook. I don't know. I don't know what to say, to be honest with you. I gave you my thoughts the other day, but I'm starting to get concerned in the sense that, why are these rumors coming out? Amir Khan hasn't said anything. But there's a saying, there's no smoke without fire. And Ben Shalom wouldn't say that if he doesn't have some kind of insight from somebody within Amir Khan's camp. And being a massive Khan fan over the years, I've always wanted to see him fight. I've always been excited. Not excited about this. I'm concerned. A lot of people are saying that he doesn't want to fight. He's just looking for step-aside money. I don't think so. I don't think so. Because the guy's got so much money. What's an extra million gonna do? Like, for me, this isn't about step-aside money. You know, a lot of people think Khan's greedy. Well, most people, human beings are. We want money. Even when we've got so much, we feel we want more. That's just the nature of money. It's evil. But I don't think this is about money for Amir Khan, because what people don't understand is Amir Khan is a very wealthy guy. And Amir Khan can make a lot of money outside of boxing. And I'm pretty sure he is making a lot of money outside of boxing. Boxing isn't his main income stream, I don't think, anymore. I think he's making millions probably in business, maybe properties, maybe other things that he does. He's making a lot of money. So he doesn't need boxing. He could make money through punditry, through businesses, houses, God knows what, like how many houses he's got, how many houses, you know, all these fighters, top fighters have all of these kind of investments. He's not, like Amir's sorted, like he's sorted. I'm telling you, he's probably making more money outside of boxing. Especially with the name that he's got, with the name value, you know, he could get appearance fees and all sorts, man. The guy's in a great position. People need to stop saying that he's skin or this, that. Amir Khan is far from skin. He's got shed loads of money. And I can tell you this, that he can make a lot more money outside of boxing than he probably can do in boxing. Especially at this point in his career where it's over for him, really. And the other thing is, the other problem is, I don't particularly think Ben Shalom wants to fight. Firstly, he saw how one-sided it is. There's no demand for it. And I think Sky have got a problem because they don't really want to see the fight. Adam Smith saying that, you know, he wants Khan to retire. Ben Shalom thinks Khan should retire. They don't particularly want the fight because they think that, like he's saying, Ben Shalom basically said Kell Brook needs to move on and fight one of the other guys. There's a case here where if Kell Brook fights Conor Benn, he's going to fight on DAZN. So Sky ain't going to be able to promote that fight. The only fights that Sky can promote is the Eubank fight. And maybe if he fights a Garcia or a Thurman. So really the Ben fight's out the question. So Ben Shalom probably wants Kell Brook to fight Eubank. For me, that's not a fight that Kell Brook should have anyway. But Kell Brook probably wants the Khan fight. Kell Brook probably wants to fight Amir Khan because he knows that's in his head, he thinks that's an easy payday, which it is. Easy payday, an easy win for him. And it'd probably be a couple mil. But the only problem is, will it be a couple mil? Because when Amir Khan sits down with Sky and they offer him the money they're going to offer him, is he going to get paid what he thinks he may get paid from this fight? I very much doubt it. I don't think he's going to get paid a lot of money at all. I don't think the offer's going to be that big at all. Hence why I think this fight's going to be very difficult to make. Because I don't think there's any demand for it. I think it was so one-sided that who's going to want to watch this? Who's going to want to see Kell Brook too? Nobody. So for me, there's no demand. For me, there's no demand for the fight. It's not a fight. We all saw how badly past it Amir Khan is. So as a fan of Amir Khan, I'm worried for his health because I don't want him to get hurt. I don't want him to get injured. I saw him bleeding out of his ear, you know, in the press conference. That's never a good sign. He's not young. You know, the attributes that he had, I said many times, he has a young man's style. That's not going to get any better as you get older. It's only going to get worse. there's no way I can see him winning this fight bar a miracle. You know, I genuinely can't, because it was so one-sided. And the reason why he lost is because he doesn't have his attributes anymore, and he lost one so one-sidedly, which Amir's never lost like that. He's never been beat up like that, you know, when he was in his prime years. Never been beat up like that. It's because he's lost everything that he's got. And for me personally, I think he needs to retire. He needs to retire. I just don't see how this fight can happen. I don't see how his family should be allowing him to go in the ring. But again, I don't know. Maybe he feels that, you know, because I saw a video from Hatman. That was a brilliant video, by the way. He basically said that the problem is with these athletes or these top fighters that have had a lot of success is that they don't listen to the critics, or they don't listen to people like me and you who are saying he's finished. They've had a lot of success in their career where they've proved the critics wrong many times. Amir Khan proved the critics wrong after Brady's Prescott. People thought he would never go on to become a world champion and be successful. He did, you know. But the problem is now, back then he had his attributes. So his fighting ability was very high. And also his determination and the ability to prove people wrong was on the same wavelength. Now it's a case where he still has the same mindset of proving people wrong, but his fighting ability has dropped so much that even though he goes back and is determined and has more longer to train, he won't be able to do anything, because his fighting ability has dropped. His attributes have diminished. You can't automatically get those back. You know, once your legs go, once your hand speed goes, that goes. It doesn't matter whether you train for 10 months, 12 months. You're not going to get it back. That's gone. That's gone. I'd be very surprised if Bomac might do it, you know, but I'd be very surprised if Bomac wants to train him again, because Bomac might think about it and think, do I really want to train him? That was embarrassing, you know, and it hurts your reputation. Bomac's made a few quid. He's probably thinking, do I really want to take it? Plus, this time, like I said, I don't think the money's going to be as much. So Bomac might take on the assignment again. Like, at the end of the day, it's just a job to him, isn't it? But he may not. He may think that, you know what, the money's not worth the reputation I'll lose, you know. I don't know. It's a tricky one for me, because what's he going to do, get another trainer for this fight? I don't know, man. I honestly don't know. I think it would be a disaster for this rematch to go ahead. I just don't see how it can. I don't see how, if you're looking out for Amir's best interest, you allow this rematch to go ahead. I just think that Amir's totally past his best. I don't think, it doesn't matter how much he trains, how long the training camp is, I don't see him beating Kell Brook. And that's the goal here, because Amir Khan's made all the money. It's not about money. This isn't about money. This is about ego and him trying to prove the critics wrong, him coming back. Because if Amir Khan was to rematch Kell Brook and beats him, he's looking from his head. Imagine how much credit he would get from where he was at. So before, Amir Khan wasn't going to get no credit for beating Kell Brook, because people would have said, oh, Kell Brook was washed. He wouldn't have got any credit, because Amir Khan's had a better career. He's done more than Kell Brook. So really, Brook was the one that had more to gain. Khan had everything to lose, right? But now, after Brook battered him so badly, if he was to beat Kell Brook now, in his head, he thinks, wow, imagine how big it would be. Like, in his head. Even though, for me, even if he was to, I don't think he beats Brook, but if he was to beat Kell Brook, for me, it doesn't do anything, because Brook's kind of past his best. And for me, he's just another name. Khan's beaten many guys on, like Brook, that's achieved what Brook's have. Malignaggi achieved more than Brook. Zab Judah achieved more than Brook. Kotelnik on par with Brook. Like, if you look at Kotelnik's resume, it's probably better than Brook's. You look at Zab Judah's resume, it's far better than Brook's. Devin Alexander has beaten better fighters than Brook. Beaten more fighters than, he's got a better resume than Kell Brook. A lot of fighters that Amir Khan's fought have done more than Kell Brook. So, for me, beating Kell Brook, it's just a personal thing for him. It's his ego, because Kell Brook's his domestic rival, so he wants to get one up on him because he feels his ego's been hurt. Do you see what I mean? Because he's never been keen on, like, I know apart from Lamont Peterson, who was going to rematch that. Danny Garcia, he wanted to rematch Danny Garcia, but that just didn't come off because, you know, I felt like it was always going to be hard for him to negotiate with Garcia because Garcia and his dad were going to think they would think that they're the A side after beating him, and Khan had a massive ego. But Khan might be willing to let that ego go he may even be willing to be the B side after that loss because he may think that I want to get my revenge. I want to get revenge. But for me, I only see this going the same way as the Hey Bellew fight. I think it goes even more conclusively in Brook's favor because one guy's totally past he's like Brook's past his best, but Brook's still got something to offer. Khan has, like, Brook could still fight on. Khan can't fight on. He's completely finished from what I saw in that fight. It doesn't matter whether it's against Kell Brook or it's against somebody else. I said to you in a previous video, I don't even think Amir Khan can beat a British level. Like, I think someone like Congo and Mickinson beat him. I'm being serious. I don't even know if he can beat those level of fighters at this point in his career. I wouldn't, like, and this may sound crazy to people, like, I wouldn't even be confident him beating like a Conor McGregor type. I'm being serious. Like, maybe I'm being totally off it, but I'm just going off what I've seen. You know, I wouldn't even be surprised if someone like that would have a chance against Amir at this point. From, again, what I saw in the ring, that, you know, against Kell Brook. Like, even someone like McGregor could be, like, you know, do some damage. He's completely finished, in my opinion, from what I saw. And it's time to hang up the gloves as far as I'm concerned. Like, I told you guys that I don't enjoy watching Amir Khan anymore because it's not the same guy that I used to love watching so much in his prime. In his prime, this guy was a formidable force and such a beautiful boxer to watch. He's now, it's almost hard to watch because it's almost sad to watch. And listen, I hope if this rematch does happen, he beats Kell Brook. But I'm just being honest, I can't see him beating Kell Brook. It was a one-sided fight. It was conclusive. And he was getting hurt every time Brook landed anything, just a jab. He was like getting hurt and wobbling and his legs didn't look under him. I don't understand how that's all going to come back. Like, Khan didn't have the greatest punch resistance in his prime, but he was still tough and he was sturdy. You know, look at Maidana fight. He had a war with that guy, Lamont Peterson. He took so many shots in that fight. You know, and I've said before many times, Kell Brook isn't like a massive Julian Jackson type puncher. He's got solid power, nothing special. But he was wobbling him every time and not just him, Crawford was wobbling him every time. It tells me he's finished. You know, Canelo landed some flush left hooks on Khan, and Khan sucked him up. He didn't wobble or nothing. You know, Canelo landed jabs on Khan. He didn't wobble. So what that tells me is that he's totally finished. His foot speed is not there. His foot speed is totally shot. Ever since Khan got knocked out to Canelo, his foot speed has been non-existent. It's not been there. It's difficult to watch. It's difficult to watch as a hardcore Khan fan. It's difficult to watch, and I just don't know. I know some people think. I don't know. I just don't see how he can fight on. I don't see there being a demand for the fight. I don't think Sky want to do the fight. You can tell from Ben Shalom's comments, he doesn't want to sell. He doesn't want to do this fight. He knows it doesn't sell. He knows it doesn't sell. But because of the contract obligation, it may be a case where they put a stop to it. They put some kind of spanner in the works for the rematch, so Amir Khan can't take the rematch. You know, maybe, who knows, maybe the Boxing Board of Control might deny him a lot. Who knows? Kell Brook wants this rematch, though. Kell Brook, don't get twisted. Kell Brook, like, I know Kell Brook's saying that I want to fight Conor Ben. Kell Brook wants this fight because Kell Brook knows it's another payday and an easy fight. So Kell Brook, for me, Kell Brook would want this fight, 100%. Because Kell Brook probably thinks, right, I could get another couple mil and it's not even that tough a fight. That's how Kell Brook's thinking of it. You know, he's probably thinking, this is beautiful for me. And then after this, I can go and fight Conor Ben or Chris Eubank. Do you see what I mean? So Kell Brook's had it off when you think about it. But let's see anyway. Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.